My friends, every generation is given a gift, an opportunity wrapped in the disguise of challenge. Some see obstacles, others see doors. The difference is never the size of the mountain, but the vision of the climber. I once met a young man who worked as a cleaner in a small office. Day after day, people walked past him as if he did not exist. But instead of complaining, he carried a notebook in his pocket. Every break he studied, every night he planned. And years later, that same cleaner became the owner of a company that hired hundreds. Ordinary beginnings, extraordinary endings. Why? Because he understood one truth: your future depends on what you do today. History is not shaped only by presidents, kings, or leaders. It is written by men and women, mothers raising children with courage, fathers working 2 jobs with dignity, students daring to dream beyond their neighborhoods. Perseverance is not glamorous, but it is powerful. Change is not instant, but it is inevitable when we refuse to give up. The question is not what the world will become tomorrow, but what you will decide today. Will you waste your time, or will you invest it? Will you surrender to fear, or will you stand in faith? Will you watch history, or will you write it? You see, the future is not a mystery, it is a harvest. And the seeds you plant today, discipline, integrity, sacrifice, love, will grow into the forest where your children will one day find shelter. So I say to you, do not despise small beginnings. Do not be ashamed of humble steps. Rise with courage. Lift your head with hope. Let unity, not division, be your language. Let responsibility, not excuses, be your path. And when you feel weary, remember this truth: great lives are not built in moments of comfort, but in seasons of struggle. Your pain today can become someone's inspiration tomorrow. So take action, dream boldly, work faithfully, believe fiercely, because your destiny is not waiting in some distant future. No, your destiny is hidden in your decisions today. And never forget these words: your future depends on today. The future is often spoken about as if it is some hidden treasure, locked away in a chest buried deep in the sands of time. Many people sit and wait, hoping that one day, somehow, destiny will knock on their door. They pray, they dream, they wish, but they forget the truth. The future is not a mystery. It is a harvest, and every harvest is born from a seed. What you plant today, you will reap tomorrow. I remember meeting a man who worked tirelessly in the hot sun, planting tiny seeds in the soil of his field. To the passerby, it looked like he was wasting his time. The ground was dry, his hands were blistered, and the seeds were so small they were almost invisible. But he knew something that others did not. The seed is always smaller than the tree it becomes. Months later, that same barren field was filled with green life. Corn stalks towered high. Fruit weighed down the branches. People came from villages far and near to buy what his land had produced. The miracle wasn't in the harvest, it was in his decision to plant when others doubted. That's the principle of life. Every word you speak, every habit you form, every choice you make, it is a seed. Some seeds grow quickly, others take years, but all of them bear fruit. If you sow bitterness, tomorrow you will reap loneliness. If you sow laziness, tomorrow you will reap regret. But if you show discipline, tomorrow you will reap achievement. If you sow kindness, tomorrow you will reap honor. If you sow faith, tomorrow you will reap the possibility. The reason so many people are frustrated with their lives is not because their destiny has betrayed them. It is because their seeds were neglected. The future does not betray, it reflects. It does not surprise, it reveals. It is not a stranger. It is a mirror showing us the results of what we decided yesterday. Look around you. Every invention, every skyscraper, every movement that changed the world was a seed planted by someone who dared to believe in the soil of today. Thomas Edison planted a seed when he refused to stop after 1,000 failures. Rosa Parks planted a seed when she refused to give up her seat. Martin Luther King Jr. planted a seed when he declared a dream in the face of division. Those seeds became harvests that we still feed on today. But here's the sobering truth: if today you do nothing, tomorrow will reward you with nothing. If you spend your days watching the clock, complaining about the system, blaming your circumstances, your future will simply hand back what you gave it: emptiness. The soil does not care who you are. The soil only respects the seed. Whether you are rich or poor, educated or uneducated, the law of sowing and reaping is the same. This is why every morning matters, every conversation matters, every decision matters. Because you are not just living for today, you are building a future that is quietly waiting for you. Your words are planting, your thoughts are planting, your relationships are planting. The way you handle your finances is planting. The way you handle your health is planting. The way you treat people is planting. And the harvest will not lie. Some of you listening right now may feel like your life is stuck, like your future is already written and there is nothing you can do about it. But that is not true. You cannot go back and change yesterday's harvest, but you can change tomorrow's. The field is waiting, the soil is open. The question is, what will you plant today? Because the future is not waiting for miracles, it is waiting for seeds. The future is not waiting for chance, it is waiting for choice. And the smallest seed, planted with faith, can create a harvest that generations will thank you for. When you look at history, you will see a recurring theme. Greatness rarely begins in palaces or in places of comfort. More often, greatness is born in obscurity, in simplicity, even in struggle. Ordinary people, people with no titles, no wealth, no platform, rise to extraordinary heights, not because they had everything, but because they refused to let their beginnings define their endings. Think about it. Abraham Lincoln was born in a log cabin, raised in poverty, and faced failure after failure in politics before becoming one of the most remembered presidents in history. His beginning was small, but his vision was larger than his environment. He believed that his past was not a prison, but a classroom. He allowed the lessons of hardship to build his character, and because of that, his ending was different from his beginning. We see this again and again. A young woman, orphaned and abused, grows up to become a voice for justice, a leader for change, an inspiration for millions. A boy who could barely afford shoes grows up to break world records on the track. A student who failed multiple times in school creates inventions that change the way the world lives and works. What do these stories tell us? That where you start does not determine where you finish. But here's the challenge: too many people build their identity around their beginning. They say, I was born poor, so I will die poor. They say, I came from a broken home, so I can never build a whole one. They say, I have failed too many times, so success is not for me. But your beginning is just your introduction. It is not your conclusion. Just because the first chapter of your life is filled with pain does not mean the last chapter cannot be filled with purpose. Ordinary people become extraordinary the moment they make a choice. Not a choice to ignore their reality, but a choice to rise above it. A choice to refuse the labels that society has placed on them. A choice to believe that their ending can be rewritten, no matter how their story began. You see, life is not about the size of your starting point. It's about the direction of your steps. A seed in the ground looks insignificant. It is buried, it is covered, it is unseen. But hidden within that small, ordinary seed is extraordinary potential. The oak tree does not complain that it began as a tiny acorn. It simply grows. It simply reaches. It simply becomes. The same is true for you. What looks ordinary right now, your job, your home, your situation, may be the very soil where greatness is waiting to grow. The question is not how you started. The question is whether you will allow your beginning to dictate your ending. Take a moment and look at your own life. Perhaps you began with loss. Perhaps you began with rejection. Perhaps you began with a childhood that seemed unfair. But beginnings are never meant to predict destiny. They are meant to prepare you for it. The weight you carried yesterday may be the strength you need tomorrow. The tears you cried may be the river that waters your dreams. The nights of loneliness may be the very thing that teaches you how to lead with compassion. Ordinary people rise because they refuse to stay defined by where they started. They learn, they grow, they fight, they believe. And in that process, they discover that what others call ordinary is actually the foundation of something extraordinary. So, when the world looks at you and only sees where you came from, remember, your beginning is not the full picture. The end of your story has not yet been written. The pen is still in your hand. If you study the lives of the greatest men and women who ever walked this earth, you will notice a common thread weaving through their stories. It is not that their lives were easy. It is not that everything worked in their favor. It is not that they had endless resources or smooth roads or open doors. No, great lives are not built in moments of comfort, but in seasons of struggle. Struggle is the furnace where character is forged. Struggle is the weight room where strength is built. Struggle is the classroom where wisdom is taught. Comfort is pleasant, but it rarely produces greatness. It makes you feel safe, but it does not stretch you. It soothes you, but it does not shape you. If you want to see the true measure of a person, do not look at how they behave in comfort. Look at how they respond to struggle. Think of Nelson Mandela, who spent 27 years in prison, 27 years behind bars with chains around his body, but vision burning in his heart. Those years of struggle did not break him. They built him, they refined him. And when he walked out of that prison, he did not walk out bitter. He walked out ready to lead a nation into freedom. Think of Helen Keller, blind and deaf from a young age. Comfort would have said, you have no future. Struggle said, you have potential. She wrestled with a world that seemed closed off to her, and through that struggle, she became a voice that inspired millions, proving that the human spirit can rise beyond any limitation. Look at history, and you will see this pattern again and again. The Wright brothers faced ridicule, rejection, and repeated failure before their fragile machine ever lifted from the ground. But it was in the struggle, the sleepless nights, the broken prototypes, the countless setbacks that their dream found wings. The truth is this: if you avoid struggle, you avoid growth. If you run from hardship, you run from the very soil that could produce your greatness. Struggle forces you to dig deeper, to think sharper, to believe stronger. It is not your enemy, it is your ally. It is the storm that makes the roots of a tree go deeper into the ground. Without the storm, the tree may grow tall, but it will not grow strong. I want you to reflect on your own life for a moment. The times when you grew the most, when you discovered your strength, when you learned who you really are. Those were not moments of ease. They were not the sunny days when everything was going right. No, they were the nights when tears stained your pillow. They were the days when you felt like giving up, but something inside you said, keep going. They were the seasons when you felt pressed, but not crushed, struck down, but not destroyed. That is why you should not despise your struggle. Do not curse your season of difficulty. Do not think that because you are struggling, you are losing. Sometimes your greatest victories are hidden inside your deepest battles. Sometimes your most powerful testimony is being written in the chapters of your most painful trials. Greatness is not comfort dressed in silk. Greatness is struggle dressed in scars. It is the single mother working 2 jobs to put food on the table, teaching her children resilience. It is the student fighting through rejection letters until one yes changes everything. It is the entrepreneur whose ideas are mocked until the world finally catches up. It is the leader who faces opposition, betrayal, resistance, yet refuses to let the struggle silence their vision. Comfort may give you rest, but struggle gives you legacy. Comfort may entertain you, but struggle equips you. Comfort may preserve you, but struggle transforms you. Every scar on your journey carries a story, and every story carries the power to inspire someone else. So when life feels heavy, when the struggle seems endless, remember that you are not being buried, you are being planted. And what looks like darkness now is the very environment where your roots are growing deeper, where your character is becoming stronger, where your vision is being refined. Destiny is one of those words people often speak about as if it is far away, as if it is some distant land waiting at the end of life's road. Many imagine destiny as a place you stumble upon one day, as though time alone will carry you into purpose. But let me tell you the truth: your destiny is not tomorrow. It is hidden in your decisions today. Every great destiny ever fulfilled was not the result of one giant leap, but the sum of countless small steps, ordinary decisions, what to do, how to respond, what to believe. These are the brushstrokes painting the masterpiece of your life. We often wait for destiny to reveal itself, but in reality, destiny has been waiting for us to choose. Consider the story of a young shepherd boy named David. He wasn't born into royalty. He wasn't seated in a palace. He was out in the fields watching sheep. But when the moment of destiny came, when a giant stood before a fearful nation, David's decision that day changed everything. He could have run away like others did. He could have said, "This battle isn't mine." But instead, he chose courage. That decision, made in a single moment, unlocked his destiny as a king. Look at Harriet Tubman, born into slavery. She could have accepted her condition as permanent. She could have lived her life defined by chains. But her decision to escape and then to return again and again to free others was not just bravery, it was destiny unfolding. The future of countless men and women was hidden inside her decision to act. That is the weight of today. What you choose to do at this moment is not small. It may feel insignificant. It may feel like just another day. But today is a seed that tomorrow will water. If you choose to learn today, tomorrow will reward you with wisdom. If you choose to save today, tomorrow will give you security. If you choose discipline today, tomorrow will reveal achievement. If you choose faith today, tomorrow will show you possibilities. So many people make the mistake of postponing their lives. They say, one day I'll start, one day I'll change, one day I'll chase that dream. But one day is not promised, and destiny is not delayed. The opportunities you ignore today may not wait for you tomorrow. The habits you neglect today will become the chains that hold you back tomorrow. And the vision you refuse to act on today may become the regret you carry into tomorrow. You don't need tomorrow to begin. You don't need tomorrow to make a change. You don't need tomorrow to pursue your purpose. Destiny is not hiding in the future. It is hidden inside what you decide right now. Look at your own life. Look at the choices before you. They may look small, but every great building is built brick by brick. Every great journey is walked step by step. Every great destiny is lived decision by decision. There is a young person somewhere deciding whether to keep studying or give up. That choice will shape their destiny. There is an entrepreneur deciding whether to risk again after failure. That choice will shape their destiny. There is a father deciding whether to stay present or to walk away. That choice will shape his destiny. And in each case, the outcome of tomorrow is hidden in the decision of today. Do not underestimate the power of a single choice. A choice to forgive instead of holding bitterness. A choice to stand instead of shrinking. A choice to believe instead of doubting. A choice to act instead of waiting. Each decision is a door, and behind that door is a different future. The question is never, will I have a destiny? You already do. The question is, which destiny will I choose? And the answer is being written in the decisions you are making right now. Every person alive carries within them the pen of destiny. With each day that passes, you are writing a story, line by line, chapter by chapter. Some will read that story as inspiration, others as a warning. But whether your life becomes history that inspires or history that fades depends not on chance, not on luck, not on tomorrow. It depends on today. Your future depends on today. So rise, act, and write history with your choices. Think of the builders of nations. They were not born with maps in their hands or crowns on their heads. They were ordinary men and women who chose on ordinary days to take extraordinary steps. They made choices that seemed small in the moment, but those choices carved pathways that generations would walk on. George Washington could have stayed a soldier, content with his victories, but he chose to take responsibility for a nation's birth. Florence Nightingale could have lived a life of comfort, but she chose the harder path, nursing the wounded in dark, dangerous conditions. Their futures were not waiting for them in the distance. They were built with the choices they made in the present. Your choices are history in the making. A student sitting at a desk, deciding whether to study or give up, that is history. A mother deciding to forgive instead of walking away, that is history. A young man choosing to stand for integrity when corruption surrounds him, that is history. History is not just written in books or carved in monuments. History is written in the daily decisions that shape who we become. But here is the tragedy too many people waste today. They believe the myth that tomorrow will rescue them. They think, tomorrow I'll change. Tomorrow I'll start. Tomorrow I'll get serious. But tomorrow is only a reflection of today. If you waste today, tomorrow will inherit that waste. If you invest today, tomorrow will inherit that investment. If you rise today, tomorrow will rise with you. Life will not wait. Opportunities will not stand still. Time is the most democratic gift we have. Every person is given 24 hours, no more, no less. What you do with it is what separates destiny from regret. And the truth is this: your choices today are like seeds falling into soil. You cannot see the harvest yet, but the harvest is already on its way. Think of Thomas Edison, working late into the night, failing over and over as the world laughed at him. Each failure was a choice to continue. Each decision to keep going was history in the making. Think of Rosa Parks, tired from a long day's work, who made one choice: to remain seated on that bus. That single act, in a single moment, shifted the direction of an entire nation. She did not wait for tomorrow, she acted today. This is the call to each of us: rise, act. Do not sit idly, hoping for change while refusing to move. Do not watch the world and complain about its darkness when you carry a light in your hands. Every action is a statement, every choice a declaration, every day a page in the book of your life. Yes, the future can look uncertain, yes. The road ahead may be filled with challenges, but the greatest tragedy is not the challenge, it is an action. To rise means to confront fear with faith. To act means to step forward even when the ground shakes. To write history means to live in such a way that your choices echo beyond your lifetime. When you rise, you show the world that where you began does not determine where you will end. When you act, you remind others that waiting is the enemy of progress. And when you write history with your choices, you leave behind a legacy that tells generations it can be done. My friends, we have walked through a truth that echoes through every generation. The future is not something that just happens, it is something we build. The seeds we plant today will one day grow into forests that generations will walk through. Ordinary beginnings do not determine extraordinary endings. Struggle does not destroy, it refines. And destiny is not waiting somewhere in tomorrow. It is hidden in the decisions we make today. When you rise with courage, when you act with conviction, when you believe that your choices matter, you begin to write history with your own hands. The question has never been whether the future will come. It always comes. The question is, what kind of future will it be? And the answer is being written right now in the way you think, in the way you live, in the way you choose. This is your moment. This is your time. The world does not simply need dreamers, it needs doers. It does not only need vision, it needs action. And the greatest gift you can give to tomorrow is the discipline, the faith, and the courage you walk in today. So let us rise together, not as people waiting for change, but as people creating change. Let us act with faith, with hope, with unity, with perseverance. And let us remember this truth: your future depends on today.